Hey there, folks. This is Jay Frost speaking to you from the central desk at the Philanthropy Mastermind series. It's really great to have you back, and I'm very excited about the person I'm going to reintroduce to you today. But before I do that, I want to welcome you and also encourage you to participate today, because if you know anything about social, and I think everyone on the planet does, maybe it's a love-hate relationship at this point, you know that one of the things that we have enjoyed about it is the chance to actually communicate with one another. And if this is anything, it's a non-toxic environment here, the Mastermind series. So it's a chance for you to actually communicate with our guest today, who is the person I've always looked to as really knowing this subject better than anyone. And so I hope you'll use this opportunity to use the chat and the Q&A as you see fit, to be a part of the conversation, post a question, post a comment, really use those sandboxes. Those are yours. And we'll make sure that we harvest directly from those throughout, so that what you're thinking and feeling and asking are part of this conversation today. So if you wouldn't mind, let's just go ahead and warm up the chat for our guest today, and just say hello, maybe where you're from, which organization you're with, if you want to do that, which part of the country, maybe which part of the world. We consistently have people from around the world in this series. So if somebody would just go ahead and warm that up, we would really, really, really love that. And while we're doing that, I also want to thank our sponsor of this entire series, which is DonorSearch. This is the only reference you're going to hear about them today, unless again, our guest chooses to mention them for some reason. But that doesn't mean it's any lack of affection. If it were not for DonorSearch, we could not be doing this session or any of these sessions. And we've got over 120 scheduled this year. So I hope you're going to be there for a large part of that. But these go back to 2016. So if you want to see any of that content or be a part of determining what happens in the future, you can do that by going over to donorsearch.net, going to the resources tab. You'll see the entire calendar, links to recordings, our podcast, everything is there. Plus, it's also a way for you to, if you want, maybe learn a little bit more about the donors who make your mission possible. But with that, I want to jump on. And first of all, thank you. Oh, you really, you took that hint, and you are really saying hello there. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Aaron and Nettie and Caroline and Laura and Helen. I'm not going to read everybody's name here, but this is really great to see. And from Hawaii to New York, that's wonderful. So thank you all for being here, and please keep that as a space where you can talk with one another and with us. It's really great to welcome Julia Campbell, a friend and also a friend to all of us in this sector. And you saw her title already, but I do want to tell you a little bit about her, and I'm sure she'll reference the rest of this in her presentation today. You know, what we're really talking about today is how to convert fans into donors. And she's been helping organizations do exactly that for a good amount of time now. She's a digital consultant, speaker, and author. You may have seen her on stages, virtual and real life. She's the author of at least 2 books that you want on your shelf: Storytelling in the Digital Age and How to Build and Mobilize a Social Media Community for Your Nonprofit in 90 Days. So no more excuses. Julia can tell you how to do it. She's also the voice behind Nonprofit Nation, a podcast, which I hope is going to be on your list of those you subscribe to and listen to religiously. But with all that, I want to get out of the way and let her work her magic. Thank you so much, Julia, for doing this today.
Yay. Oh, thank you, Jay. I am so excited to be here today. I am thrilled to talk about one of my favorite topics. Let's talk about love-hate relationship with social media, but we're going to talk about how we can use it as fundraisers. So how to stop spinning our wheels and how to really kind of get results strategically. So Jay did a fantastic intro. I am not going to spend a lot of time on myself. Some facts you might not know about me. I'm a mom of 2. I'm a returned Peace Corps volunteer. So shout out to any of my Peace Corps or AmeriCorps volunteers in the house. I'm actually a member of the school board, for better or for worse, here where I live in Hamilton Wenham. And Jay talked about my 2 books, my podcast. I come from the sector, and that's what I want to impart to you today. So I've worked for years as a development director, a development and marketing director, and even at one point as a development, marketing, and volunteer coordinator director. So I had like 27 hats. So I understand where you're coming from if you wear all the hats and if you do all the things. If you want to connect with me, learn a little bit more about my history, my thinking, my favorite social channel as of right now is LinkedIn. So feel free to connect with me there. Now, I have a planner for you. I'm happy to actually just email this to you if you don't want to use the tech here, but content is the fuel in the social media engine. And today we're going to talk about strategies for converting donors. We're going to talk a little bit about content creation, but this planner will get you focused into creating the kind of content on social media that your audience is going to love and that your audience is going to respond to. So it goes even deeper than we can do today in the 1 hour that we have together. So content is the most important thing fueling your social media channels. So I encourage you to spend a lot of time researching, developing, creating compelling content. So happy to email that, send that to you, DM me on LinkedIn. You can use my fun little text tool that I like to use that you might want to check out for your own audience. So what is going on with social media right now? I was going to pull up some headlines today. I couldn't even bear to do it. So it's there is a current, Justice Department is filing lawsuits currently against Apple. So that's like a tech lawsuit, but it's really about monopoly. It's about data privacy. Data privacy, consumer privacy continues to be a huge driver in a lot of the different headlines that we're seeing. Of course, maybe TikTok will be banned. It's not going to be banned. What it really means is that ByteDance has to divest of TikTok. China has to divest of this company. So it has to be purchased by hopefully an American company. We don't know. We don't know if it's going to be banned. There are so many swirling headlines around every single social media channel and platform and topic that you could think about. So what I want us to do to focus today is just to embrace the chaos, right? Change is constant. We cannot stop this change. We cannot control this change. We cannot perfectly plan this change. We can ride the waves of change, partner with change, and shape change. That is the mindset that I want us to go into today, because the reality is we're not going back. We're not going backwards. So some of us, might remember when we had a desk like this. I still have a globe actually, and I do still have an old school address book that I should have pulled out, but and I still have a bulletin board and pictures. But the point being, we're not going backwards, we're going forwards. And how are we as social change agents going to use these channels and these platforms to do good, to create impact, and to spread good messages and positivity and information about what we do? Now, a few statistics on how people are using social media right now. Pew Research Center is really my nonpartisan research go-to for all of these statistics. So if you're looking for benchmarks, what are people using? Which demographics are using which? It looks like YouTube and Facebook are the most used online platforms amongst adults. Roughly half of US adults say they use Instagram, and so on and so forth. So you can see the statistics here if you're trying to benchmark. I'm not telling you have to be on any of these channels, but I know a lot of people that take my webinars, that listen to me speak, they like to get a little bit of a baseline before we get into the strategies. Now, what are some implications for nonprofits? Well, donors actually do say that social media inspires them to give. So from the mouths of donors, I was actually surprised to see that it surpassed email, because I thought, wow, email is the highest converting digital channel, but online donors say social media inspires them to give. 84% of Facebook users share to show their support for a cause and talk about what's important to them. And we know that. And then Google found this piece of information. 57% of people who watch nonprofit videos on YouTube go on to make a donation. Now, I have a feeling that there has to be a link involved and there has to be a call to action involved with that statement, but that is from Google statistics. Social media platforms are not all created alike. Now, I want you to type into the chat, who is your favorite Tim Curry character? Mine is definitely Frankenfurter, I believe, although Clue is a close second. I don't know. It is really good. Rooster and Annie. I mean, you can see. So think of social media platforms like Tim Curry. Okay. They're not all created alike. What works in one role is not going to work in another role. What works on one channel is not necessarily going to translate onto another channel. Oh, Wadsworth Frankenfurter. Oh, Home Alone. Oh my gosh, when he was the concierge hotel. I think that was Home Alone too. That's a deep cut. That's amazing. Oh, I love it so much. The Big Devil Glob of Oil from Fern Gully. Love it. He has voiced so many characters, but there's such a wide variety of platforms out there that we can't just expect all of our content, all of our messaging to fit into one particular platform. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So what about social media usage for nonprofits? This is just showing you what Statista found in 2024, early 2024. It looks like Facebook, clear winner, Twitter/X, Instagram, LinkedIn. I mean, there's no shockers here, but these are the platforms that we seem to be employing for better or for worse. I love to see YouTube growing, TikTok growing. And then perhaps more importantly, where are we getting engagement? So Hootsuite actually conducted this really fantastic research report on the nonprofit social media trends report. And you will get the slides, but if you go to Hootsuite or you Google, nonprofit social media trends, you can get this report for free. And what they found was pretty surprising. It looks like Instagram has the best engagement rate of all of the platforms. And then LinkedIn is second. And this is specifically studying nonprofits and government organizations. I love studies that specifically study our sector because we are such a unique and distinct sector, right? Any conversation around social media has to really involve the origins and the intentions of the platforms. So the people predominantly, people, meaning everyone, meaning the people that are all the users, they call them users, right? But people, they use social media to keep up with friends and family. Now, of course, they're not using YouTube necessarily to keep up with friends and family, right? They're not using TikTok necessarily. They are using various platforms to keep up with friends and family, and that was the original intention. But now to find entertaining content, that is a very, very close second. So to find entertaining content, to learn new things, I mean, that is number 2 and number 3. Nonprofits can absolutely fit themselves into these categories. Entertaining doesn't mean cat videos. Entertaining means I'm watching it, I'm learning something, I'm interested in it, it's educational, it's inspiring. So I really believe that we have a great shot at creating that kind of content that could be entertaining to learning new things. I also want to quickly talk about my philosophy, which is consistency is key, okay? This is a marathon, it's not a sprint. There's no shortcut. There are best practices, there are techniques, and there are tips, but there are no shortcuts. Really, there are no shortcuts. I mean, it's a long game that we're playing here. I wish I could eat a salad. I don't even wish I could eat it once a week. I wish I could eat a salad once a month and reach all of my health goals, but that is just not obviously what's going to happen. So the other thing that I want to say is not only is it a consistency, there's no one size fits all in terms of platform. So I might like, going to spin class. You might like going to yoga. Someone else might like CrossFit. Your nonprofit might be best suited to Instagram. Somebody else might be best suited to TikTok. There's no one size fits all, but there are frameworks and ways that we can determine what's going to work for us and our particular needs. And it really fits into your overall plan. It doesn't replace anything you're doing. That is so important for me to say. It does not replace anything that's working. If you do direct mail, wonderful. If you're doing events, great. If they're all succeeding and working for you, social media should be augmenting what you're already doing. Now, I teach the 4 pillars of an effective social media marketing program, and I'll touch on the 4 pillars today, but I think it's important that we understand that an effective program really requires 4 things. And today we're going to talk mostly about content creation. But number 1, research and listening, figuring out what are other people doing? What's trending? What's interesting? What's unique? What's in the news? What are people talking about? What are other organizations in my industry or cause area doing? What's working on this platform? So research and listening is a huge piece of this. Creation and curation. So content creation is your unique content that you create, your photos, your videos, your blog posts. And then curation is finding content that works for your audience, that your audience is going to be interested in, and serving it to them. Community management, also really important. So like Jay said at the beginning of this webinar, this is a two-way street, okay? This is not just a billboard. We are not just sort of sending out promotions. We are inviting comments, inviting feedback, asking for stories, asking for comments, and we are replying and we are answering. And then number 4, measurement and analysis. You would not send out your annual appeal letter and not determine how many letters you sent out, how much you spent, how much you made last year, how much you made this year. There's all sorts of metrics that help you determine the success of your fundraising appeal letter. The similar process should be done for social media. How do we know success? And that's determinant on your goals. What are you trying to achieve? What kind of resources do you have to achieve it? How much time have you spent? How many resources have you spent? And how can you improve it? How can we improve what we are doing? Because if we're just doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same results, I know people keep saying that's the definition of insanity. So I'm going to say that as well. You cannot just continue posting and spraying out, content and then having it not work, but never looking at why it might not be working and not iterating and improving on what is working. So if you do these 4 things consistently, you will grow your audience and your engagement. This might mean you need to be on fewer channels. Okay. So I want to ask you, you can type in the chat, which platform do you use the most to connect with supporters? And I definitely think a cat can be educational. So, but I don't want everyone to think that they have to have cat videos to succeed. All right, let's see. Okay, looks like, the data is proving correct. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Okay, it looks like a good combination of Facebook and Instagram. Okay, all right. Well, that's great. I think that we need to be really looking at what we're doing, the platforms that we're on, and really doing that measurement analysis piece and seeing, are these platforms converting for us and are these platforms engaging our supporters? So let's dive right into the strategies. So the strategies to convert social media fans. The first strategy is my favorite strategy. And this is not something I think we use social media for, unfortunately. We should be at every angle trying to get people off social media and onto our email list. The reason I say this is because we do not own social media platforms. We don't control who controls the platforms. I built an entire huge community on Twitter, 18,000 followers. And then Elon Musk bought the company. And just because of how I feel about him and his politics, I had to leave, and also how he manages the platform. That's my personal opinion. But it went to show me I can't build an audience solely on social media. Okay. I can't. Like, maybe you don't like Mark Zuckerberg. Maybe you think, you're worried about TikTok being banned, or you're worried about restrictions being put on all of these different platforms. So we really need to focus on how can we get people to make a deeper relationship with us. It's almost like you would not just rely on a billboard. You wouldn't rely on a newspaper ad to communicate to your donors, because you've really no control over that. How can we get them onto our email list to get more control? Not to mention, it just is higher. It has a higher open rate. Obviously, you reach more of your people. You have more control over the message and the medium. And if you're building your email list ethically, then you can take it with you from platform to platform. So from Constant Contact to Salesforce to ConvertKit to, whatever you might be using. You do have to give people a reason to sign up. So when you're posting on social media, subscribe to our newsletter. I love NASA. Okay. And I would obviously love to subscribe to their newsletter. I don't think subscribe to newsletter is the best call to action. I think we could zhuzh it up a little bit and make it a little bit more enticing. Sign up today. We'll send you 2 simple ways to fight hunger in your community. Join us in the fight against deforestation. Never miss an update in our mission to cure childhood cancer. We have to put the problem forefront, like what is in for the person that is getting this email newsletter, and why are they going to subscribe to yet another email newsletter? And we never want to say email newsletter, because for that makes people's brains short circuit and we just get overwhelmed. So play on this FOMO, share on social media. Tomorrow we'll be sharing Liliana's story, her incredible journey, in our newsletter, or I would say in our email update. If you want to read it, sign up for our updates here. Just make it very easy and enticing. Like, we can't just expect that people are going to follow us. We really have to show them the reason. And we have to do this on social media as well. We have to show them why they should follow us. We can't just say, follow us on Facebook. Okay, why? I'm following, I've been on Facebook, I don't even want to know how many years. Oh man, it really might be going on like 20 years now. Well, that's crazy. I know it was before my daughter was born and she's 14. So I've been on it for so long. Why would I follow one more page? Like, it has to be enticing. Same with any other channel. I love the idea of adding your email sign up to social media bios. I know on LinkedIn, you can add a variety of links now. There are all sorts of ways that you can add a variety of links to your social media platforms. Also have to give a reason to do it. The Museum of English Rural Life. I don't know why I saw this tweet. I don't actually remember why I found this tweet, but I must have been subscribed to that. I must have been following them on Twitter back in the day. But I loved what they said. And it's not for everybody. Obviously not everyone's going to follow the Museum of English Rural Life, but the people that it is for are really excited about it. I mean, they're probably very excited about sheep as well. So play up what makes you unique, play up what cool, fun, interesting, entertaining, helpful content you might be sharing. Also, all of us are probably sharing video on social media. I hope so. So if you're sharing live video, if you're sharing any kind of videos on YouTube, on LinkedIn, make sure you add the email sign up so that people don't miss a video. Play on that FOMO, thanks for watching. Stay updated on story time for children with our newsletter for parents. And then on YouTube, you can actually add a card at the end. You can add an email sign up link in the caption and add it on the video card. You don't want to post a video and not have a way for people to sort of follow more videos. This is obviously different. You don't want to put a sign up link on every Instagram reel and TikTok video. So short form video is a little bit different. So I would use the link sparingly there, but certainly longer form video. If someone's watching a 4-minute video, yes, you should get their email, because they're much more likely to want to follow you and like you. The second way is we have to leverage ads. We have to. If we are looking to build our audience, these are the main questions I get. How do we reach new people? How do we reach new donors? How do we get in front of more people? Well, the free lunch is over and has been over for a very, very long time. Organic reach is completely decimated based on the sheer number of accounts that are now using these services, and also based on the sheer number of people that are utilizing advertising, but also based on the fact that there was a really seismic shift in the last few years, especially with Meta, where they saw that people were getting so sick of seeing pages. So they've started to deprioritize that. They started to reprioritize content from friends and family. So we're kind of fighting an uphill battle with organic reach. If you're doing good with organic reach, then keep going, keep doing, keep analyzing, keep giving your people what they want. But if you're like most of my clients and students and you want to reach newer people, more people, and you want to reach the right people, then you want to invest a little bit of money into a targeted ad strategy. The key with this is to not just send people to the homepage of your website and have them figure it out, because that's going to serve no one. That's going to frustrate the person that clicks on the ad, and you're not going to get any data about them, and it's not going to help you at all. So the key here is to have an objective. So I'm going to go really, really sort of high level into 2 objectives that you can use on any social media platform where you might want to advertise. So the first one is lead generation. So lead generation, this is especially useful on Facebook and Instagram. So the way that it works is you create an ad, like look at this, like if you, I'm going to go back here. 6 ways for you and your family to give back this Thanksgiving. And you click on learn more or sign up. I don't have to go away from Facebook. Okay. I can just stay on Facebook. A little ad pops up with my name and my email, the email that I use for Facebook. And then it's pre-populated. And then I just click send. So it eliminates that friction of signing up for your email list. It eliminates that friction of like signing up, going to your website and signing up. And then they can get the information they want, and you generate this lead. Now, the reason I like to generate leads is that you can then nurture them along the way. So you can send them your fundraising appeals. You can send them more information. It's really rare that someone goes to your Facebook page and just clicks donate out of nowhere. So the only way that would happen is probably if you're in the news. So if you are, if it's something that is in the news, people are talking about it, people are getting worked up about it, or if they were sent there by a friend or a family member. So it's just incredibly rare that someone would just out of nowhere see your post and make a donation. Lead generation is much lighter touch. It's much more like, oh, I'm interested in this mission or this cause. I might want, it's like a handshake. Like I want to kind of get to know you better. Now we are in an election year, and I've been seeing a lot online about how Meta especially is restricting political content, social issue content. I don't work for Mark Zuckerberg. I don't work for Elon Musk. I don't work for any of them. So I can't tell you why or how or the rationale behind what they're doing, but I can tell you if you are running ads, just expect it to take a little bit longer for the approval process. The second objective you want to consider conversions. Now, this is how you're going to actually determine if someone comes from LinkedIn and makes a donation. Okay, this is how you will actually determine this. So it helps you drive these actions. We all hopefully have a donation form on our website. So I go to your website, I click donate, I fill out a form, give you my card or my Apple Pay or whatever, and then, click submit, and then I get sent to a thank you page. If you have that process in place, then you can use this objective in your ads. So when a donor clicks on your ad, they land on your website. They may or may not complete the donation form. You will get that data, which is very helpful data. If you're driving 100 people to your donation page and one person is actually making the donation, that's not Facebook's fault. There's something wrong with the website. Maybe it's slow loading. Maybe it's unclear. Maybe there's too many forms. So that's a problem. But if you have, 10%, I think 5% to 10% is probably really high, making the donation, then you know that it's probably all working. I mean, your goal is to increase that number, of course. So this is how many people actually click on the link from social media, go to your donation page and fill out the donation and click donate. And you can get that kind of data. You can get it from Google Analytics. If you have that on the back end, you can get it actually from the ads manager as well. So some best practices for ads, but also all social media content. I was thinking this when I was making the deck. I was like, this is really just best practices in general. Compelling imagery that's going to grab the attention and grab the eyeballs of your audience. So always use image and text. I mean, don't use a lot of text. Use image and text. Use an image that encapsulates the essence of your program. That's so hard to do, but you kind of know it when you see it. There's so many ways. There's so many things you could do. Volunteers building a house, having a dinner, If you can't use photos of clients, you can use photos of staff, maybe volunteers, maybe you can use images of the field or images of your office or the program in process. Square vertical images, videos work best. Remember, if you're using video, that a lot of people watch it with the sound off, myself included, because if you have young kids and you're watching something on your phone and the sound goes off, they like run instantly over to you. So a lot of people watch it with the sound off. Shorter videos, this is for ads, because you've got to grab that attention. And then look at the formats that you can use on each of the channels. So look at the channels that you might be exploring. Stories, ads, instant experiences, like experiment. The motivational call to action is so important, right? So this doesn't say with Girl Scouts, I can't wait to be a volunteer. That doesn't speak to me in any way. That could be anything. That could be so generic, but I can't wait to teach her something new, show her what's possible, help her shine, see what she does next. That really resonates. And personally, that resonates with me. It might not resonate with you, but I'm the perfect. I volunteer with Girl Scouts. I've been involved with them for years and years and years, love them. And I think that the wording you use is so important, that you're going to be reaching the right people. So rather than click here to learn more, change a child's life, like help stop hunger, and yay, woohoo, Girl Scouts. Yeah, we love Girl Scouts. I love it. Another best practice, tailor your social media ads to each platform. Really, I think this is so important. I think that absolutely you need to be thinking about the intricacies, the best practices, the unique content that resonates on each platform, and especially ad formats vary from platform to platform. Use A/B testing, okay? The platforms, they want your ads to succeed, because then hopefully you'll purchase more ads, right? So they want them to succeed. So there's a way in Meta, you can set up 2 ads to kind of compete against each other. And the ad platform will see which one performs best and put more of your budget towards that one. You could probably I've only done it with 2. You could probably do it with 4 or 5, but I think 2 might be, for our purposes, the most reachable. So think about headlines. Think about, maybe you want to say your $10 gift, your $20 gift. Maybe you want to experiment with different videos or photos or all of those different things. It's so important. And then think about your audience. How can you best reach them, and what are your goals? And when I say tailor your content, I know I'm talking about it a lot, but if you're running a campaign to reach high school seniors, you're obviously not going to be advertising on Facebook, just because the demographic data shows that they're not on Facebook. You'll be using YouTube and you'll be using TikTok. Okay. So what are your goals? What are you trying to do? What does success mean? How can you reach them? Who is your audience? So we do really need to do that listening, that research and listening piece a lot when we're creating this content. Now, this might sound like, yeah, Julia, duh, I know that I have to have a compelling reason to give. Well, the reason that I pull this out, I'm going to show you a lot of examples, is because I think we were sold a bill of goods, right? We were sold a lot of snake oil when we signed up for social media. It was like, oh, let's get a Facebook page. Let's get a LinkedIn company page. We're going to post once in a while and the donations are going to roll in. And we know that's not true. And we know it takes a lot more convincing. It takes a lot more creativity to actually get people to pay attention and to care. So think about your calls to action. How can you combine storytelling with compelling data? I love what Feeding America did with this. First of all, this photo that's going to kind of stop the scroll. That's your goal. You want someone to kind of stop, pause, maybe read a little bit about, and I have a 9-year-old son, so this one really, really, kind of sticks with me. and then a fact about hunger, and then how you can help. So you can do it in a more maybe succinct way, but I think that stopping the scroll, using a compelling image of a person, hopefully using a story, that's what's going to really, really work. So this is what Macmillan Cancer Center did. I do want to pull out something interesting that they did. This is done in the UK and in Europe a lot more. They have the text to give, because think of how people are using social media. They're on their phone for the most part. If I'm on Instagram, I'm on my phone. Like, I don't look at Instagram on the desktop. I think 1% of people do. Facebook might be a little different. LinkedIn might be a little different. But think about how people are using their phone. We have to eliminate the friction and the obstacles to giving. What is the obstacle to giving? Oh, I'm on Instagram and I have to go to a browser, type in a link, blah, 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 find the form, find my credit card. No, no, no. Text dad to 70550. That's having empathy for your audience. I'm very big on having empathy for your donors and meeting them where they are. Monthly donor spotlight. Do you know that when we ran this one, they had people say, we did not know that you had a monthly donor program. I mean, that just like strikes you in the heart, right? But it's all about awareness. Raise awareness. Talk about your monthly donors, your recurring giving donors, your planned giving. Talk about your big donors. Talk about everybody. And then ask, learn more, and join in donating monthly. We can't assume that people know this. Look at the features of the platforms. Okay. Emojis, what GIFs, animated GIFs. I mean, retweet to sign up and help, all of this kind of thing. Think about what people are doing on the platform. Giving Tuesday, save lives today, donate now. Donate now and help innocent animals who need us most. I like this post from Best Friends Animal Society. I think that we could all emulate this, because I want to pull out what I really like. Can you give just $5? So we want to make sure that on social media, the asks are very small, because social media really is like a top of the funnel kind of marketing and awareness channel. You can ask for more money in person. Like, you're not going to ask for $1,000 or even $100 on social media. That's like a big lift. But $5, get people in the door, get people excited. And then I love what they say here. Click the donate button below, because if you think about how people are on their phone, they might not see the donate button. They might see the caption and the caption and the photo, but they might not see the donate button. Just spell it out. Just make it super, super easy for them. This year, give up your birthday for kids with cancer. Find out how. So St. Baldrick's has now gone 2 steps further. They are now not just asking for donations, they're asking people to donate their birthday with a Facebook fundraiser, with an Instagram fundraiser, and then dispelling myths and misconceptions. What St. Baldrick's found is that people thought they had to shave their head to make any kind of difference. You don't have to shave your head. You can donate. You can raise awareness. You can buy a shirt. There's a lot of different things that you can do. So what are the obstacles in the way of people giving? Knock them down. You can set up the donate button on I don't think all of these channels. So TikTok is it's getting a donate button. Who knows what's going on with it now? LinkedIn still does not have like an official donate button. YouTube does, but you have to have 10,000 followers on your YouTube channel, but you can still sign up for Google for nonprofits. But Facebook, if you're signed up with Facebook fundraising tools, then that translates to Meta, and you can put a donate button on your platform. It's so easy. This is why people love these tools. So love them or hate them, donors love them. Social media users love them. I can just click donate $20, and then it encourages me to put a donation sticker. We have to show people how to use these tools if this is something that you want to explore and use, but we have to show people how to use them. We have to ask them. We have to spell it out. I love this screenshot. Choose this sticker, choosewater.org, because we can't assume that people know how to use these tools. Rosie's Place does such a great job, not only stopping the scroll with these like clean, bright, happy, not cluttered, like beautiful images, but join these compelling calls to action. Every day of the year, poor and homeless women rely on our dining room and food pantry to provide nutritious and tasty meals and groceries. Join us in fighting food insecurity by making a gift. That's actually on LinkedIn. So you can do fundraising on LinkedIn. You can actually repurpose your Facebook content. You do have to put it in, you have to still paste it on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I wouldn't use a lot of hashtags. It's different from Instagram. It's different from other platforms, but storytelling like this does tend to work really well. And then what works even better, getting your employees, getting your staff members, your volunteers, your board members to fundraise for you on social media, because we trust friends and family so much more than we trust organizations and institutions. Think about how powerful this post is. This month, Mercy House, the nonprofit I work for, is running a campaign. I'm aiming to raise $500. Why give? I've had conversations in the DMs. Here's my fundraising page. And I would just give everyone at your work this example and say, here, if you're working from a blank page, you don't know what to write, this is a perfect example of a great fundraising post on LinkedIn or on social media of any kind. The ways to write a great call to action, you want to make your give now language compelling. You want to consider your audience. Always, always, always play on their motivations and their desires. And like, what problem do they want to solve? Why do they turn to you? Like, what vision do you have that they share with you? And we need to stop asking the question of cutting through the clutter. Now, I know in some of my promotional materials, I said, do you want to cut through the clutter? The whole fact is we can't cut through the clutter. It's not possible. What we can do is reach the right people. We can cultivate and nurture and inspire a passionate group of supporters, but cutting through the clutter, that shouldn't be our goal. It should be reaching and resonating with the right people. And the way you do that is with a content strategy that is 80% about your audience and only 20% about you. So interacting, educating, inspiring, entertaining, connecting, and then 20% promotion and fundraising. So that's sort of my framework that I like to use with my clients. So quickly as we wrap up, trends come and go. Like I said, the only constant is change. This is a cassette player that I found at Party City when I was there shopping with my kids for Halloween. And my son came up to me and said, "What is this?" And I got very excited thinking it was a real cassette player, but it was not. It was part of like a 90s I can't even, it's so painful. It was like a 90s section. So 90s is a costume now, I guess. My whole childhood is a costume. But music has not gone away. Just the way that we listen to it has changed. And we can't fight it, right? I mean, people still have cassette tapes. I actually do still have cassette tapes. I just don't have any way to play them. But the point being, we have to remember that we have to meet our donors where they are and where, not just where we want to be and where we want them to be. Social media. I don't want you to build your house on rented land. Talk a lot about social media, right? I love it. And I think it's a very powerful tool, but we can't rely on it to do all of our fundraising for us. We still have to do the heavy lifting. And I really recommend, if you're strapped for time, if you're a one-person shop, just choose one platform and do it well. Don't spread yourself too thin. Take a break from a platform that is not serving you. The most important thing to know is that people are drawn to the idea of a bigger group of people doing good. So Giving Tuesday and Neon One did this amazing report. I encourage everyone to read the Giving Tuesday. It was in 2022, and they are still processing the data for 2023. But 52% of supporters said they're drawn to this idea of a bigger group. That's what we're hoping to create with social media, not this sort of transactional idea. It's building that bigger group of people doing good, seeing each other doing good, and lifting each other up. And that's what I'm hoping for all of us. All right, what's one activity you're excited to try out? Okay, one activity, list it in the chat, I listed some here. You might have something else. Maybe you want to do some ads. You want to share stories. You want to build your email list. You want to work more on your CTAs. Maybe you want to try something completely out of the box or new, but type in the chat. And then while you're doing that, I just encourage all of you to connect with me. And I know we're going to take some questions. And I really haven't been looking to see if there's been questions. So Jay and Jack, I'm going to rely on you for that. But I want you to, connect with me on LinkedIn, my podcast. I have a lot of resources for you. So I'm going to see what you are excited about building. Let's see. Yes. Oh, meta ads, small asks in socials. Good. Building our email list using social media. Nice. Utilizing it more to build email lists. Great thought. Yes. I really believe in that. Stories and fundraising CTAs. Oh, once a week for more info, sign up for our e-newsletter. Make sure you say for more info on XYZ. And make it about your mission. Advertising, working on enhancing CTAs, a social media group page, but with a focus, turning volunteers into donors. Oh, that'd be interesting. Oh, Google ad grants. Yes. Google ad grants, I think, are fantastic. Actually, I know quite a few people that run Google ad grants. I am not an expert in Google ad grants, but definitely that's an online research tool for you. All right. Well, we have our first question in the chat. I see another question in the Q&A. Oh, it's the same one, but let's see. So if you have a question, please put it in the Q&A. I mean, we're here. I'm here for you. I'm here to answer your questions. And if you have a question, it's almost generous of you to ask it because I am sure that a lot of others have the same question. Do lead ads require metapixel like the conversions? No, because it's not requiring data from your website. It's just requiring, it's just how many people clicked on the lead ad. And then the second piece of data is how many people filled out the, whatever the form is. So there's clicking on the ad, right? Anyone can click on an ad. Like we've all clicked on an ad probably by accident. So there's ad clicks, and then there's actually like taking the action on the ad. So you will get measurements for both of those. And then you can see, actually, because if there's a huge disconnect between 9,000 people clicked on the ad, but no one actually made a donation, like what happened? So I think experimenting with both, but that's a really great question. Oh, the costs associated with Facebook ads. I get this question a lot. So the way that ads online work, it's not like a newspaper. I mean, like you go to the Boston Globe, I'm making this up, and you buy an ad and it's $1,000. That's completely made up. Facebook and all social media is not like that. It depends on what you're trying to get people to do and then how many people you want to reach. So if you want people, like the lead generation ads, right there, if you have $50, you're going to get fewer people doing it because it costs more, because it's a higher lift, right? If you just want people to watch a video, $50 can get you a lot of video views. But getting people to click that little $50 budget that you have, it's going to be fewer people. So when you go into the ads manager, it will ask you, like, what's your, how many people do you want to reach? How long do you want to run the ad? What do you want people to do? And then that's going to help you determine your budget. So you can work with a tiny budget. I recommend working with a small budget first. I do not recommend boosting posts. I should have said this. No boosting posts ever. Boosting posts, it's not like creating an ad. Boosting posts just means more people saw it, but who cares? Who cares? You don't really want necessarily more people to see it. You want more people to take an action, right? You want more people to sign up, to donate, to go to your website, to subscribe, whatever it is you want people to do. I don't believe I just don't believe in paying hundreds of dollars in ads just for more eyeballs for the sake of eyeballs, if that makes sense to you. So some people disagree with me, but I really think that you need to have a firm, like, what's an email subscriber worth to you? Like if you spent $100 on ads on LinkedIn and you got 15 email subscribers, I think that sounds pretty great. But to you, does that sound like success or not? So being very clear about your goals when you go into it, and then really be clear about your budget. And then if it's working, you can always add more budget. And if it's not working, you can shut it down at any time. So a lot of it is just like try and fail and try and succeed and trial and error. A whole lot of it is that. So these are great questions. Let's keep them. I want to keep them coming. Does anyone else have any questions? Oh, guidance on, I love, now they're in the chat. Okay. Google Analytics. Do you think Google Analytics is essential for growing audience and strengthening communication efforts and reach? If you use, this was in hosts and panelists. So I would, if you can type the questions into the everyone chat, which I don't think I can do, but this question is from Samantha about Google Analytics. I think website analytics. So it depends on the website that you're using, but yes, Google Analytics, now called Universal Analytics. I think we should be looking at our website performance. I firmly believe we should be treating our website like an employee because it's so important. It is such an important function. We should be giving it a performance review. I would think every 6 months, every 3 months, saying, what do we want our website to do? And is it actually achieving that goal? And if it is, how can we do more of it? And if it's not, how can we improve it? I really believe it. A lot of us, our websites are like this beautiful brochure in a dark hallway. No one finds it, no one sees it. But when they do, it's just this beautiful brochure. I don't know what to do with it. I just look at it and I read it, and I don't understand what I'm supposed to do next. So we need to think about who's reaching our website and what kind of actions they're taking. And Google Analytics will show you what keywords they're using to find you. What are they clicking on? What is your most popular site on your page? How much time are they spending on your page? And where are they coming from? So are they coming from Facebook? Are they coming from LinkedIn? Are they coming from Pinterest? I've had quite a few clients who have had a lot of people come from Pinterest, and they never knew it until they looked at their website, their Google Analytics. So yes, I do think looking at any kind of website analytics, whether you use Google or not, is definitely integral for any digital marketing program. Which social media platform has the highest conversions? Shockingly, LinkedIn. So Classy did a study where they found that LinkedIn is the highest converting platform in terms of fundraising for nonprofits. Giving Tuesday, I know last year, found that Instagram was the highest converting on Giving Tuesday. I don't know. So it's either LinkedIn or Instagram, but Instagram might have just been because it was Giving Tuesday and because that was such a popular hashtag, which leads me to the next question. Any guidance on using hashtags? Yes, really quick. There's 2 types of hashtags. One, the hashtag that you use for you. So a hashtag for this, and I'm going to get it wrong, would be like DonorSearch masterminds. That's very specific to DonorSearch. That's very specific to an event. Or like if you're going to a conference, the conference hashtag. Or if you're, it's just a specific hashtag to a very specific event or a very specific event or a very specific organization. Then there are the general hashtags like hashtag breast cancer awareness, hashtag lupus awareness, hashtag I love volunteering. Those are the general public, like the general public, those are more widely used. I recommend a combination of both of those. But I think it depends on the platform. Instagram, you can use 30 hashtags and no one bats an eyelash. LinkedIn, maybe a couple. Facebook, I don't like hashtags on Facebook. Twitter, obviously you can hashtags. It totally depends on the platform, but I would really research what's working. If you're a local organization, you should be using the hashtag for your community. So, Beverly's the community right next to me. So it'd be hashtag Beverly MA, or I live in Wenham. So it's hashtag Wenham, hashtag Hamilton. That is going to help you be found by more people searching. So think of hashtags as like a search term. It's what people are searching on, and it's how people are filtering out content on the internet, on social media, so they can find exactly what they want. All right, these are so good. Do you recommend creating ads based on lookalike audience filters or friends of friends? I wouldn't do friends of friends because I don't think that makes sense. Like, just because I'm super into a certain cause doesn't necessarily mean my friends are as into it as me. Like, you would think we'd have similar, maybe similar interests. But also friends on Facebook can be really misleading. Like, I have a lot of friends, like I said, I have been on Facebook, I want to say 20 years. I mean, that's so long. And I have friends that I don't filter my friends list a lot. I have friends from high school. I have friends from all over the place. So I don't think it's a good measure. I think the lookalike audience, this is when you create an audience that looks like your fan base and your follower base, or looks like maybe your email list. That's a better measure. But I also like uploading your email list into a social media platform so that you can advertise to that list. Because what we have to remember is that people are only 0.02% of people are actually seeing our social media posts, and then maybe 15-20% open our emails. So no one is going to be inundated with your messaging. It's no one is going to say, oh my gosh, I get so many messages from you. There might be that one person, but ignore them because they are an outlier. Most other people are not seeing your stuff. I just think we're not communicating enough. So I think if we do a combination of, ads to people that love us and know us, our lookalike audiences, our email list, and then we, send emails, and we're constantly showcasing the work that we do, I just think we don't communicate enough. It's just my tip. Okay, we got 1 more minute. Any tips for selecting your target audience when creating meta ads? You target different audiences for different ads. I mean, ideally, if you've got the time, the bandwidth, the creativity, as targeted as you can get. What I wouldn't do is, just because like you're a food pantry in Beverly, just target all of Beverly. I really wouldn't do that. I would really be like, you can see the other pages they follow. You can really drill down into their behaviors, what they're interested in. And then it's all just a sort of experimentation, and you can save those audiences. So if one audience doesn't work, you can kind of say, okay, remember I did that. And then if one audience works, you can build on that. But I think the more you can drill down, because we're really, everybody's looking for specific things that pertain to them. Like one example that I will give, I don't know if any of you watch Peacock. So I'm big into Bravo shows. I love all the, reality shows. It's just my guilty pleasure. The ads on Peacock are so far out of the scope of anything I would be interested in. It's like sports book betting. It's like monster car things. It is wild. I don't know where they got their algorithm or their information, or like I just watched like the Real Housewives and Below Deck. Like, why would I don't know. So it's so bizarre that it kind of makes me angry. Like, I hate when I see ads that are completely out of my scope. Consistently see them. So I think, it's so much better to serve someone an ad that they're going to be interested in, rather than try to convince somebody about something that they're not interested in, because that'll just annoy them. You have to go to custom audiences to upload your email list. So just go, well, that's on Meta. I don't really know on LinkedIn, but when you go to Ads Manager, it will ask you if you want to create like a custom audience of your customers, right? But it's going to be your email list. All right. Well, thank you. I
Wow.
know I'm a little over time. These were
You're
such great
not you're not
questions.
over. I didn't come in here because you were on fire, and I love the questions too. So Jack just posted your contact information in the chat. So for those of you who
Oh, thanks.
catch it by eye, please go ahead and click those links and save them up for later. Grab these books, check out the trainings that Julia does, catch her at a conference, all these
Yes.
different things. Listen to the podcast. I hope you listen to ours too, but definitely listen to hers. So these are all the things you can do to be on top of this thing, which is so amorphous sometimes, and we get so much competing advice. You're going to get consistent advice and sound advice from Julia Campbell. So our thanks to you, Julia, for all of that, and hopefully you can come back and talk with us again sometime. The report that's being released. Can
The
you say
neon one?
about that? Yes.
Oh, yes, the recurring giving report.
Yeah,
It's
that's another
being
thing.
released on April 8th.
Right.
And you can just go to Neon One. I'm sure I'll have a link. I don't have a link right now, but they haven't released it yet, but it's really exciting. And that's all data on recurring giving, monthly donors, how to build your program, and data based on their like all of their thousands of customers, small and mid-size. So it's
Sure.
really going to be great. We're releasing the report at the International Fundraising Conference in Toronto. So yeah,
So,
stay tuned.
yeah, I wanted to mention that because if people only see this of what you do, they don't necessarily make that connection to the rest of the digital world that you swim in.
Oh
And
yeah.
those two worlds are interconnected and
Thank
really
you. And
important.
check out Tim. He was just on the masterminds too, right?
Was just a few days ago. So his
Okay.
recording is, of course, in our over at DonorSearch.net under the resources tab. And I did want to mention for those who are still hanging on here at the last minute, we have no other sessions this week. But next week on April 2nd, Ben Mueller comes to talk about essentials for emerging nonprofit leaders. And on the 4th, Cindy Wagman is coming to talk about fractional executives for nonprofits. So I hope you'll check all of that out. You can learn more about that again at DonorSearch or just by clicking on the QR code you're about to see, which will let you follow all the rest of the Mastermind series. So with that, I want to thank you again, Julia. Really
Yay.
awesome. And
Thank
thank
you.
everybody
Thanks,
here.
everyone.
And we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Make sure to fill out that survey, folks, so we know what you want to see and hear. Take care.
Bye, everybody. Take care.